Good evening, Congresswoman.
Good evening.
We represent the manufacturers of candles, lamps, candle lights, and street lamps.
And the producers of oil, tallow, resin, alcohol, and, generally, everything connected with lighting.
I see. What may I do for you?
Let me first say that you are on the right path. You reject abstract theories. Abundance, cheapness concern you little. You preoccupy yourself especially with the producer. You would like to free him from external competition. In a word, you want to reserve the national market for the national labor.
We suffer from the intolerable competition of a foreign rival placed, as it appears, in conditions so superior to ours, for the production of light, that it inundates our national market at a fabulously reduced price. As soon as it shows itself, our sales cease, all consumers address themselves to it, and a branch of American industry, of which the ramifications are innumerable, is suddenly hit by stagnation the most complete. This rival, who is no other than the sun, fights a fierce war against us.
Say what?
We ask, if it pleases you, that a law that orders the closure of all windows, skylights, shutters, curtains, blinds, in a word, of all openings, holes, chinks, and fissures, by or through which the light of the sun uses to enter our houses, to the prejudice of the meritorious industries which we flatter ourselves to have endowed the country, a country which cannot without ingratitude abandon us to a struggle so unequal.
Surely this must be some kind of joke. Why do you waste my time with this?
Please, Madam Congresswoman, do not take our demand for a satire, and do not reject it as least without listening to the reasons that we have in support of our proposal.
Very well. But make this quick.
First, if you close, as much as possible, all access of natural light, you will also create the demand for artificial light. Which American industry would not be encouraged by this? In every city, you will behold gildings, bronzes, crystals, in candlesticks, in lamps, in lustres, in candelabra, shining forth in spacious showrooms, compared with which those of the present day can be regarded but as mere shops.
Yes, I can see that many jobs would be created. But why should we give up the light of the sun, which is so easy to obtain, just so that we can create more work for ourselves?
Why, Madam Congresswoman, I am shocked to hear you say such a thing. It is totally contrary to your voting record.
Ridiculous. I would never vote for something like this.
Oh, but you already have. You have voted consistently for green energy, have you not?
Yes, of course. It is very important to save the environment.
That may be true. But that is not the only reason you used when you supported the bill. You said also that you want more green jobs.
Who would not want more green jobs?
But that is just the thing, Madam Congresswoman. You see, we must compare green energy to energy from fossil fuels. Now, green energy can either require less labor or more labor than energy from fossil fuels. If green energy requires less labor, then switching to it would mean that there would be fewer jobs, not more. There would be no green jobs. For there to be any green jobs, green energy must require more labor than fossil fuels. Green jobs means more labor to get the energy we need. Likewise, our proposal will create lighting jobs. We shall need more labor in order to create the light we need.
Fine, I see your point. But blocking out the sun is useless, while we must have green energy to save the environment.
Perhaps. If extra labor is bad for the economy, then green jobs are bad, because they represent additional labor for the same result. But perhaps we should use green energy anyway, in spite of the green jobs.
But this is not what you have said. You have said that green jobs are a benefit, in addition to saving the environment. You have therefore said that extra labor is good. And what could produce more labor than to shut out all light from the sun?
Very well. I admit that I have misspoken in my rhetoric. Your proposal, however, is still outrageous.
But, I would add, your record also shows that you clearly wish to help American producers. Why do you not want to help the producers of lighting?
While I see that your proposal will help producers, it would also destroy consumers. Why should we force consumers to buy something which they can get for free?
Again, Madam Congresswoman, I am shocked. You once again have proven to be inconsistent with your votes in Congress.
What? This is absurd.
Is it? You support proposals limiting trade with other countries, don't you?
Yes, of course. Workers in third world countries earn less than American workers. It is not reasonable to expect American workers to compete with cheap foreign labor.
Precisely. So if workers in other countries received the same wages as Americans, there would be no need for trade protections.
Of course.
And if the foreign worker earns only 2/3 as much, the American worker needs to be protected from competition.
That much is obvious.
Now, if the foreign worker makes even less than that, say only 1/3, the American worker would be indeed at quite a disadvantage, and would need even more protection in order to compete.
Well, I would suppose so.
And so nothing could be worse than if the foreign worker works for free.
Precisely. It would be completely impossible for the American worker to compete if foreigners worked for free.
It would be a total catastrophe.
And yet, you would ask the candlemakers to compete with the sun during the day?
Now wait just a minute. What of the consumer? They would be immeasurably benefited if labor were free.
What? You no longer have the right to invoke the interests of the consumer. The consumer is interested in cheap foreign goods. The producer is interested in expensive foreign goods. You have sided with the producer, and against the consumer.
You have said that the American worker must be protected, because foreign labor is cheaper. The cheaper foreign labor is, the more the American worker must be protected. In this, you have considered only the producer, and never the consumer.
Logically, if cheap foreign labor is bad, then free foreign labor must be worse.
If you are to be consistent, you have no choice but to block out the sun.
You speak in hyperbole. I admit that your proposal follows the same logic that I have sometimes used in the past. But what you have neglected to do is to find the right balance. One must balance different principles. I am not inconsistent, I am practical.
Oh, I am sorry to hear that, Madam Congresswoman. But before leaving, let me just say that I admire what should I say? Your theory? No, nothing is more foolish than theory. Your doctrine? Your system? Your principle? But you do not like doctrines, you are horrified of systems, and, as to principles, you declare that they do not exist in social economy.
Your practice?
Yes, let us say therefore your practice without theory, and without principle.
And with that, we bid you good night.